Okay, we're going live.
Cool. Let's make a difference, my friend.
I agree. Let's see. There we go.
Cool. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Episode 7 of Broadcast Delta. Let's
Feels
get
like
it.
a Monday.
It's a Monday. It's a Monday, man, and it's raining. You know, I like the rain, but also the vibes that come with it tend to kind of make me slow down a little bit.
Mellow out a little bit.
Yeah, mellow out just a little bit, but hey, I'm not complaining. We're still getting work done.
Absolutely.
I had a bunch of cold calls this morning, did a bunch of outreach, so
busy.
Looking good. You cut out for a second.
Oh man, this is rainy internet. Rainy internet.
All right, but yeah, today we're going to talk about essentially just there's a certain point when you are an entrepreneur and you're trying to make things happen and you're putting in a bunch of effort, a bunch of time, and a bunch of energy into what you're doing. And it may not necessarily work out exactly the way you want it to. You know, shit hits the fan. I like to say, this is kind of a joke I have with Grant. I like to say our problems is to fix shit because things are always going to go wrong, and our fucking job is to fix it and make shit happen.
Yep.
So part of being an entrepreneur is definitely being able to understand and deal with the stress that comes along with failure, because a lot of it is failure. 99% of what you're doing as an entrepreneur is failure, and you figure it out, right? And that 1% is the success. It just takes that 1% to change your life. But what do you think about that, Grant? Do you agree with that?
I 100% agree with that. I think your success is 100% dependent on the amount of stress you can tolerate. As an entrepreneur, you are a leader. I think the word entrepreneur and leader are kind of intertwined. You're starting a company, and then when you're scaling it, you're the leading force behind it. And when you're a leader, you're the one who's looked to solve the problems. So if you're incapable of problem solving, or if whenever a problem happens, you freeze, it's going to be very difficult to grow and scale your business. So if you ever are in a situation where you kind of feel like you've plateaued, it's kind of a good thing, because that means you're about to learn something that's going to help you scale to the moon very soon.
Yeah. And I think
you're out of business.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And it's I think part of what you just said is very true. Like when you plateau and when you start seeing the progress and the effort that you're putting in isn't equal to the amount of results you're getting, that's when you really start kind of just freaking out, on my end at least. Like for me, it's just I see all this progress, I see all these results, and then it's it just dead stop. Like you hit a fucking wall. And once you hit that wall, it's very discouraging to keep going, because it's yeah, there could be days, weeks, or even months where you aren't seeing any success. But as you continue to push through it, you're learning more every single time, even though that things may not be working out. By things not working out, that forces you to then figure out a new strategy, figure out what the next thing is, and figure out a way to progress even faster and even farther than you did before. But some people, that pressure can crush them. And those are the people that most likely won't succeed as entrepreneurs. And I think one of the biggest things as far as character traits goes is the ability to keep moving forward and stay consistent, even when you're getting essentially dick punched, you know, because that's what it feels like. And I fucking hate that. I hate when it does that. I don't know why it does that.
Because you had the Apple update. One of my favorite sayings is pressure makes diamonds. People who know me well hear me say this all the time when things get hard in my life. I'm like, pressure makes diamonds. And what people fail to understand is what forced the human species to evolve to this point is extreme pressure, extreme stress, and extreme suffering. That's how you evolve as a person. That's how you evolve as a species, right? The issue, I think this is more a societal issue, is whenever you start to get stressed or whenever you start to feel pressure, because we're a society that chases comfortability, I feel like there's just a lot of people that throw in the towel. Whereas back in the day, you did what you needed to do to survive, no matter how uncomfortable you were, because there was no such thing as comfortable back then. It was, you were just doing what you had to do to survive, and it sucked. But now, because we're in a society that chases comfortability instead of evolution, in my opinion, we're more worried about like the next fluffy socks we're buying than what innovation we're going to make in society next, how we're going to make an impact in society. And then I think that's really why we're in a culture where so many people, it's a mindset thing. So many people don't feel like they can succeed when they plateau.
Mm-hmm.
You have to force yourself to evolve.
Yep. And it's really just a mental battle, right? It's really just trying to fight against the voice in your head that's telling you like, hey, look, it's not working out. Go do this, or go back to what you were doing. Go back to that comfort. It's like, I feel like the biggest thing is that this world is like essentially holding a carrot on a stick in front of you, and you're trying to chase after that comfort. You're trying to chase after that comfort that comes along with that 401k, that insurance, that comfortable, cushy job that may not be the most fun thing to do, but it allows you to be able to have a family and do certain things and live a decent life. Maybe not the best life, but a decent life, because it's certain. It's certain. And I was talking to Bennett about this. Bennett, if anybody doesn't know Bennett is one of my best friends. He's essentially like my brother. And I was talking to him about this, and it's like, when we are going through and we have comfort is essentially a trap that then allows us to be like, okay, yeah, it's okay to be where we're at because I have all of this. But it's like, yeah, but it's the opportunity cost. It's what you have to give up in order to sustain that. And with business, it's you give up your comfortability for the opportunity until it then becomes your comfort, and then you can grow from there. It's essentially building that foundation. And while you're building that foundation, it won't be comfortable. You won't have that comfort that comes along with going and working a normal job. That's just not going to happen, right? Because there's certain things that you need to do and certain sacrifices you'll have to make that will then allow you to reach that goal that you're trying to set. But once people hit that wall, they're like, okay, yeah, it's not working. And then they forget about the opportunity, and they forget about the reason that they started and everything that they tried to do. And then they revert back to that comfort. Like, okay, yeah, it's not working. I need some kind of comfort, which is understandable, but it's human nature. But then again, it's like, yes, you want to have comfort, but you don't want to get stuck there, because progress does not occur when you are comfortable.
No. And I would say, depression is a lack of progress. And I just think everything in the society is making it to where becoming an entrepreneur, it's hard. It's really hard. But
you could also argue that it's easier than it ever has been, though.
It is a lot easier than it ever has been, but it's hard.
Mm-hmm. It's not easy.
It's hard because you have the mental part of it's harder than it's ever been. But in terms of the ability to succeed in the market, there's no competition. If you try, if you just try a little bit, I don't think people understand how few people are actually trying out there. And if you just try a little bit, how many results you can get. You just have to actually try and put your all into it, because not many people do that.
Yep.
And you have to do it for more than a month. More than a month.
It's like people try one thing for like a short period of time and expect it to work out. But like even in a month, you probably haven't even learned the basics.
No. Aidan, okay, I'll do it like this. Aidan, you're pretty shredded. Did you get shredded in a week of working out?
Fuck no.
What about a month? Did you get shredded after a month?
Definitely not.
What about 6 months? Probably you started seeing a few results, but you weren't shredded yet.
No.
What about after a year?
Not even.
But you started to get there. You were starting to believe you could.
It's like I started to see the results, of course.
Started to believe that you could get to where you wanted to be.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, it's like I've always been decently, like I've always been an athlete my entire life.
Yeah.
So I always had like skinny abs, and I was scrawny in high school. I was very scrawny in high school. My freshman year, I was on my varsity lacrosse.
Yeah.
And I was the smallest guy. I was the shortest guy, and I weighed the less. I weighed 90 pounds at the time.
Holy shit.
And like being on a varsity lacrosse team as a freshman. Sorry?
You were 90 pounds at one point?
Yeah, I was 90 pounds, bro. I was like 90 to 95. And I was fucking scrawny, dude. I was a stick, bro. I'll have to show you some of the pictures later. But dude, after that, after realizing like, hey, dude, I can't be this small and be as good at lacrosse, right? Because beforehand I was playing in I was the top of my league for the age group that I was in. But then moving back here into Houston, it's like it's a little bit different. So, dude, these motherfuckers are like 250, 6'2" that I'm like playing against. I'm like 90 pounds. You can imagine like how fucked that was. Like how
I play football and I'm not a large man.
Ooh, dude, no, I can't imagine playing football at that weight, man. That would have been wild. But essentially, the moral of the story is freshman year, I started working out and taking it seriously. By my junior year, or actually by the end of my sophomore year, I was essentially one of the starters on the team, and I had put on a shit ton of muscle and weight. And then by my junior year, I was actually one of the defensive heads. And dude, I was like 175 by that point, or 165 by that point.
Yeah.
So of course it takes time. Like I was 90 pounds and I didn't even like start seeing results until probably like half a year into actually working out. But it's like that consistency. It's that consistency because
100%.
The biggest thing for me is not trying to get shredded or getting bigger. It's just knowing what it is that I need to do to get shredded and get bigger and then do it every single day.
It's the same in business, guys.
Exactly.
Aidan didn't take a day off in the gym. Aidan didn't go away from his diet. He did what he needed to do every single day for a year before he was like, you know what I'm doing is working. It's the same in entrepreneurship. You can't be an entrepreneur for a month and then throw in the towel. What? You just started. You're in the
you don't even know anything at that point. It's like you're figuring shit out.
So when did you get shredded? How long of working out before you were like, fuck yeah, this is the kind of the physique I've always wanted? How long? Was it 2 years? Was it a year and a half? Like how long did it take?
Dude, it wasn't even up until recently, if I'm gonna be honest. So I'm like 5 years in, maybe almost, well, 6 now actually. 6 years in, and I'm just now kind of like where I want to be. But actually, believe it or not, I want to get a little bit skinnier and a little more lean. I want to like drop down my weight a little bit to not look as bulky. So it's like I'm past where I want to be, if that makes any sense. So I got to kind of like come down a little bit.
And this is one of my favorite quotes that I hear so many entrepreneurs say. And then it's that it took me 10 years to become an overnight success. People who meet Aidan right now without knowing what he looked like before just assume this is what Aidan's always looked like. When you're a millionaire, when you make it in business, people are always going to assume that's where you started at. No one will see or understand the hours of dedication Aidan had to put in to achieve his goal and to finally start looking the way he wanted to. It's the same in business. No one's going to understand the hours of dedication behind the scenes that you put in to become an overnight success. Because when you do make it, people aren't going to give you the credit you want. They're not going to say, holy crap, we've seen you working for all these years. Aidan, did people be like, man, we've seen you working out. You went from scrawny to big. People just started assuming you big.
No, just people in the gym like, what's up, big man? You know, like just looking big, dude. What do you do for X, Y, and Z? You know, no, it's interesting because it's like also part of that. This is kind of going off. Well, I guess it is, but it's like also at that point I started to get noticed more by these by women, right? Because like as I was like elevating myself and building myself up, it's like all these other opportunities and all these positives came with that by just trying to achieve one goal, which was to get bigger and be better at lacrosse.
It's the same in business.
Yep.
The girls will come if you just stick with it and become that overnight success, man. It's true. If it doesn't matter if you have a goal and by proxy, that goal, you make yourself better to achieve that goal. Aidan worked out to achieve his goal. You start a business to achieve your goal, whatever it may be. More attractive things will be attracted to you because you're putting your best into something. God rewards those who put in their best. God doesn't reward those who go half-ass.
Yep.
In fact, he's going to give you a little bit of pushback. He's going to push you and challenge you to just make you decide if you're going to go all in or not. God doesn't like people who are lukewarm, but he does like people who fully dedicate themselves to the craft. And he will reward you for that by surrounding you with better people and by giving you more tools and more skills.
I agree. No, I agree with that. And someone commented saying, The Power of Habits summarizes this perfectly. I think that's a book. I haven't read it, but Power of Habits might be something to look into.
Cool.
But yeah, so I mean, The biggest thing is definitely consistency, man. Just staying consistent. And part of what we've been doing through these live streams and Broadcast Delta has been kind of walking day by day through exactly what it is you need to do to start, and then essentially get to where you want to be and like develop yourself and progress in the way that you want to.
Yep.
And today we're really focusing on like the consistency aspect of it and what it takes to actually get there, because there is a lot of pushback that you'll have along the way, and there's no way you're going to get there without having any challenges or having anything that fails or things that don't work right. So we're trying to, of course, make that as apparent as possible, because some people don't know what to expect when they first get into it. Like for me, I was like, okay, shit, like yeah, I'm gonna, become a millionaire now. Like it's not that easy. It's not that easy at all, and it never will be.
No, it's not.
So you have to understand that it's going to be difficult, and then take the necessary. You have to have the necessary strategy to compensate for that.
Anything worth having in life is worth suffering for.
Okay, so they said the whole premise was focusing on daily habits over achieving any particular goal. I think that's very true.
Yep. You do the same, yeah, that's right. Aidan worked out, even though after a month he was like, are my muscles even getting any bigger? He just did it every day.
Mm-hmm.
He did it every day. And he also had faith. That's the other thing. He had faith in himself that if he kept doing the right thing every single day, that the results would come. Because people, you don't understand how many cold calls you're going to have to make sometimes.
Man,
you don't understand. It is very discouraging. And there have been so many days in my life where I've wanted to throw in the towel. But there's nothing on this earth I would rather be doing than working for myself and working to make an impact. And I believe in myself. So that's why I continue to do this, even when sometimes it's a Monday and it's rainy and I feel like shit. But I just get up, I get on the broadcast, I do what I'm supposed to do every single day, because I know that if I do what I'm supposed to do, God will reward me. And he will do the same for you.
Yeah, man. It's really just breaking it down, really, and breaking it down from the bigger goals that you have into those small little habits that you have to do every single day, which maybe it's do 10 cold calls per day or even 100 cold calls per day just to hit your KPIs, your key performance indicators.
Yep.
Right? Because you're trying to do something, but there's certain tasks that come along with achieving that. So you have to know what tasks those are every day. Like I'm guessing with the power of habits, it's talking about this, being able to have habits that you do every single day that keep you consistent and pushing forward to get to where you want to be. Because let's say I want to swim and I want to swim faster, right? I'm not going to be over here doing something that's going to help me run faster. It doesn't make sense to do that because it's completely different. I'm not running, I'm swimming. So you have to do the right things to effectively progress yourself in the right areas, so you're not essentially wasting energy or time. Because if I'm over here working out, trying to run faster when I'm actually trying to swim faster, I'm neglecting the muscles that are required for my shoulders to be able to stroke better. And then also the muscles that you use to kick, because it's a little bit different than running. So it has to be focused. It has to be deliberate and consistent. So if you're doing things every single day and you just hope that you're going to get to where you want to be, it's like, yes, I mean, you are somewhat focused, but I don't think you're going to be focused in the right area. Maybe you're progressing, but you're going to be actually neglecting the amount that you can actually progress, because it's not focused. It has to be focused consistency rather than broad consistency.
Yes. And I know what our viewers are thinking. Okay, that's great, guys. But if I need to figure out what my daily habits are. Well, I'll tell you exactly how you need to figure out what your daily habits are. Take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down where you want to be in life in 10 years. I want you to be as detailed as possible. All the things you want, if that be married, if that be having a $10 million company, if that be having a supercar, whatever it may be, write down every single thing you want in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then underneath that, we're going to work backwards. We're not going to start with the daily goal before we understand what it is we want.
So I think actually what would be easier, instead of writing this on paper, is communicating with ChatGPT this exactly. Being able to talk to ChatGPT and being like, hey, look, this is exactly where I want to be in 10 years. I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that I need to be doing every single day to achieve this, the smaller goals and everything that go into that. Having a conversation with the AI can then allow you to kind of understand it better, rather than just writing it out. Because writing it out, like, yes, writing out will be good and it'll make you see it, but the next step in that is having a conversation based on that.
He's the AI guy. So
Obviously.
listen to Aidan.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah.
It's like you're able to have a conversation
Yeah.
about what it is you're trying to
Right.
do.
And then from there, once you have your 10 years out, go back 8 years. All right. So then you're gonna have 8 years. Where do I need to be in 8 years to get to where I want to be in 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Keep working backwards. Okay, in 5 years, where do I need to be in 5 years to make this 8-year goal happen? Okay, in 3 years, where do I need to be to make this 5-year goal happen? And then write down, then 1 year. All right, in a year, where do I need to be to make this 3-year goal happen? And then you break it down monthly, and then you break it down weekly, and then you break it down daily.
So I'm not sure if this is a misspell, but someone said, "Man, I feel you guys. No wants to bake the cake." My favorite quote on this topic is, wait, hold up, is it?
Does it? No one wants to bake the cake.
No one wants to bake the cake. I feel like that makes sense. No one wants to bake the cake, but they want to eat it. They want to eat it, right?
Oh yeah.
They want to get to the end before they've even
Oh yeah.
steps to get to where they want to be.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yep, so you summed it up perfectly. Yeah.
No, I think he said it perfectly. Everyone wants to climb the mountain, but the difference between those still on the bottom is simply a matter of showing up tomorrow to give it just one more shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I think how many people say they want to climb up Mount Everest, but wouldn't dare actually start climbing up the mountain. And then there's some people that start climbing up the mountain and probably turn around because they're like, yeah, this is too hard.
Yep. And it's like, once you really commit to something, I feel like nowadays a lot of people aren't necessarily like committed to their word and what they say. They don't think it carries that much weight. But you have to become a person that does what it is that you say you're going to do, rather than, because that isn't just for the people around you, it's for yourself. It's the self-talk, it's the self-belief that you have in your head, because that's very, very important. Because if you don't think you can do something, you won't be able to do that. But if you think you can do it, you definitely can, right? So it's a matter of being able to set yourself up in your mental, because like we were talking about earlier, it's all a mental game. You have to be able to get through the stress and through the pressure that comes along with this. So with that, you have to be able to talk. You have to be able to self-talk and almost like hypnotize yourself into believing exactly what it is that you're doing.
I 100% agree. It's kind of like this, right? If I don't believe I can do something, absolutely, why would anybody else?
Mm-hmm. It's like going back to the mountain, right? Trying to go up Mount Everest. The person that doesn't believe that they can make it up halfway won't make it past halfway. But the person that believes that they're going to make it all the way to the top and all the way back down and don't even worry about it are going to most likely do that, right? Because that they're dedicated to that. They have said that they're going to do that, and their willpower says that's what's going to happen. And that's the same with anything. You have to be willing to put all of your energy into what it is you're doing, because you will be rewarded for it. And if you don't, then it will have a negative effect.
No, 100%. I agree. It's crazy what happens when your own mind is your biggest enemy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how everything spirals when you don't even have control of your own mind. When there's a voice in your head that says you can't do something, and that's your own voice, that's dangerous. Because that voice does not exist in my brain. Or Aidan's brain.
Nope.
The voice that exists in our brain is, fuck you, watch.
Watch this. Yep.
Watch. That's the mentality you have to have. Because you know how many people are going to tell you no, or that you can't do this, or you can't do it? Like, there's a lot of people that are going to say that to you. Mm-hmm. The mentality you can't be like, maybe they're right. Maybe I can't. No, it's fuck you, watch.
Okay. It's like, you're fucking wrong. I'll show you. And I'll show you why.
And it's sometimes takes a long time to show. It sometimes
exactly. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I feel like a lot of people forget that. You have to be willing to play the long game. It's strategy. It's a long game. It's not, you can't, well, I guess you can. Might be a bad analogy, but with chess, you can't make one single move and win. You have to make multiple moves. You have to make multiple moves and multiple decisions to be able to make that happen. Your success does not come through one move. It is the moves that you've made before that to be able to set yourself up to be able to then capitalize on that opportunity.
Yeah. It's kind of like running a track. It's like an endurance thing, right? It's like you're kind of like boxing. I love comparing business to boxing, right? It's like who can get hit the most and still stand up? Who can be out of breath but keep swinging, right? Because I can outlast anybody. I can out endure anybody. I can suffer more than everybody else. So when your business is going to crap and it goes up in flames, I'm fine. I will stand in the flames, unfazed, and I will put out the fire while you're running and panicking. That's why I will beat you. That's why me and Aidan are going to surpass you in this world. And you have to think the same way. I will surpass every other person that is unwilling to stand in the flames like I will.
So, I don't know if I'm gonna say his name right, but Owandiso. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. Try and spell it out for me so I can actually get it right the next time. But he asked, do you guys follow any sort of philosophy? And this is my answer. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. Stoicism is king. Stoicism is king. You have to be in control of yourself and your own mind in order to truly be able to see what you're truly capable of. Because if you don't control your own mind, then you don't control your own body, your own desires, and then you will be led down a dark path, right? You're going to give into temptation because you don't have the mindset of understanding or the philosophy that you need to be able to actually control yourself and not be persuaded by external factors, right?
I love this question. I'm so glad it was asked because stoicism is not hard, right? Stoicism is not just when things are going hard. There's also a certain standard when things are going well and how you conduct yourself.
Yep.
I've done that. On to the next one, right? It's a mentality of a warrior. It's the mentality of a champion. To me, that's what stoicism is. Champion mentality. I'm gonna get the belt and then I'm gonna hold on to it.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
You get the belt and then, oh my gosh, I'm so emotional. I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go blow everything because I finally have a win and I'm emotional. Oh my God, it's been 10 years of suffering. I finally made some money. Now I'm gonna blow it all because I deserve to blow this money because
No, I think that's a dangerous mindset, right? Because you're working so long and you just blow it, man. It's like you have to be stoic. You have to be grounded in the moment and understand where you're at, where you were, and where you were going as well. So it's really like a holistic approach to life and the way that I see things. I don't necessarily consider myself very, very religious, but that also kind of plays into my philosophy as well and the way that I believe in the world and everything. And I do believe in a creator and like a higher power, but we could go down that rabbit hole. That's probably something for a podcast, right?
It's a podcast. We can talk about that on the podcast this week.
And then he said his name, he said perfect. Luandiso. So I got it right.
Thanks for watching. We appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. If you have any questions or want to hop on the podcast or broadcast, we'd love to have you on, just kind of communicate and see how we can help you and potentially how you may be able to help us. Maybe have some information that we don't, right?
Iron sharpens iron.
Mm-hmm. And then also he said, I think you would really enjoy reading the book 21 Rules of Dakota.
Writing that down.
Yeah, I'm going to write that down too.
Rules of Dakota?
21 Rules of Dakota. But yeah, so I'm not sure what that's about. I'm guessing it's kind of like 21 Rules of Life, kind of like almost like 48 Laws of Power.
Great book. If you haven't read it, read it.
Yep, 48 Laws of Power, kind of something like this. I imagine where there's the 48.
By Robert Greene.
Sorry.
It probably is by Robert Greene.
Sorry, 21 Rules of Dakota.
Yeah, it's probably by Robert Greene.
I feel like Dakota is potentially a person.
You think so?
Yeah. Here, let me look it up.
I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday, and I was surprised at how many freaking Robert Greene books there were, and how many I need to read.
Yeah, man. I want to run through all of them.
Yeah, there's 33 Laws of War that I flipped through while I was at Barnes & Noble. It looks like an amazing read.
Dakota, sometimes referred to as the 21 Rules, are a set of ethical guidelines established by a Japanese Zen Buddhist monk, Alicia, in the 13th century. These rules emphasize living in harmony with nature and developing a life of pure compassion and simplicity. They are these as following. 1, be adaptable. 2, cultivate adaptability. 3, prescribe diligence. 4, prescribe detachment. 5, prescribe self-regulation. 6, live without being fixed fixated on past events. 7, live without regrets or regretting what you have done. 8, living without frequently, and then it cuts off. But no, I think I'm definitely going to read that and have to try and figure it out, because as far as I know from those 8 that I just listed off, that's essentially like the way that I kind of carry myself and the way that I like the rules that I try and implement in my life on a subconscious level, I guess. Right.
Always give us books to read, meaning bookworms. We love books. Give us books.
Yeah, no, we like to learn. We like to accumulate knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the ability to be able to see. I think knowledge is power, but knowledge is useless until used.
I agree. It's implementation that makes knowledge powerful.
Exactly. It's the implementation, because you could read all these books, and that kind of goes into trying to be an entrepreneur as well. You can learn all these different things and trying to understand all these different things, but if you don't try and implement them, you won't understand how they work and how they can actually help you get to where you want to be.
Like that.
Implementation is number one. Implementation and consistency is king.
I like that.
So he said he reads them every morning, and they're pretty much a set of life rules for him.
That's awesome, bro. So it's kind of like your it's kind of like your code.
Exactly. It's like programming your brain every morning.
It's powerful.
It's one of those things, because I don't do anything like that too often, but I'll definitely try that out. Maybe I start reading it every morning, just trying to see if that yeah. And he said he would love to hop on the broadcast anytime. So we'll definitely have him hop on. But yeah, we're gonna have to start wrapping things up here.
Tomorrow, do you want to talk about 10 books every entrepreneur should read, and you and I can come up with a list?
You said tomorrow or right now?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. We can come up with a list and kind of talk about that and figure out what books. Yeah, we'll talk about books tomorrow, because I feel like knowledge is very, very important. And acquiring knowledge and figuring out exactly how to implement that knowledge is super, super crucial. So we should talk about that tomorrow for sure.
Cool. We're going to talk about 10 books every entrepreneur needs to read.
Number 1, power, baby.
Books that me and Aidan have read. Maybe I haven't read all the books Aidan has read, and vice versa. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. So tune in tomorrow. Aidan, get us started.
Well, I appreciate everyone being here and listening to us. We will be back again tomorrow around 11 o'clock our time. That's in the US. And yeah, I appreciate everybody staying till the end, and we will see y'all tomorrow.
Have a great Monday, guys.
Take care.